This is Sean from Hammersim, bringing you another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report, this time 1200 points between Vampire counts and Dwarves. Enjoy! We randomize terrain. We have a Wizard Tower on the left, a standard building somewhere in the middle, a Grey Knight Chapel in the middle, a Sinister Statue which shoots randomly D6 Strength 4 missiles at units within 6 inches of it, and a couple of obstacles. And on to deployment. My opponent won the deployment roll and chose to field his Dwarven army behind that obstacle. He has an Organ Gun with a Rune of Accuracy, a Grudge Thrower with a Rune of Accuracy, as well as a Rune of Forging, 26 warriors, full command in those warriors, I forgot to mention. We have 3 characters inside a 16 strong Hammer unit, again full command. The 3 characters he has in that Hammer's unit are a Thane BSB, a Thane General, and a Rune Lord. I can't quite remember exactly how he chose to equip them, as well as their magical runes, so I'll just move on to my deployment. This is the way I chose to field my army. I started off with a 20 strong unit of zombies, standard musician, another unit identical to the first one, standard musician, and I chose to put my general in there to use it as a bunker. The general is a level 3 necromancer lord. I have a 28 strong unit of skeletons, full command. It has also my second necromancer in there, he's a level 2. I have a 18 strong graveguard unit, White King BSB, and the unit itself is holding a banner of the barrels to make it -1 to hit in close combat. Also my BSB is wearing the Night Shroud. I've also fielded a Vargolf sign. The reason my Vargolf is pushed so off to the side there is due to that Sinister Statue. I had originally wanted to field him around there and then push him up behind the Grail Chapels to use it as line of sight against the Organ Gun and the Grudge Thrower, but because of the random nature of the Sinister Statue, I didn't want to risk getting him hit by D6 Strength 4s before combat's even started, so I put him to the flank there with the assumption that he might be able to take a couple of hits from the Grudge Thrower. It is outside the range of the Organ Gun, and if you see here, I have put the ranges of the Shrine and the Organ Gun in yellow and blue respectively, so judging by the distance to the Organ Gun there, I should be able to march right up to his flank without being shot at, and just hope for the best against the Grudge Throwers. And the reason why I wanted to do this was to make sure that he keeps either one of his hammer or warrior units behind to face the Vargolf and not leave his war machines open for the Vargolf to charge. That way I can come along the other side and hit his other flank with all of my other units. So in Dwarves turn 1, my opponent chooses to shoot at my Vargolf. He sees the threat to his flank immediately and recognizes that he needs to take that thing out ASAP. So the Grudge Thrower misses the first shot, but he's got a Rune of Accuracy, so he re-rolls, gets a hit, and but he fails to wound though, because he rolls a 1 on the wound roll. During Vampire Count turn 1, I move most of my units behind the house to line of sight against his 2 war machines. I was quite worried about my general because in one of our previous matches he continuously dropped rocks on my general's head and eventually made him fail a lookout sir rule, so I'm very wary of that this time. My Vargolfs move right up the flank there. The thinking is I want his hammer unit to stay behind to threaten the Vargolf and to protect his war machines from that side. That way I can engage his warrior unit with all of my infantry from the left, hopefully smash it before his hammers can turn around and hit them, and win the game that way. During my magic phase, he dispelled the first invocation I tried to do from my general, but he wasn't able to stop the second invocation from my caster, which is why the second zombie unit is now slightly larger than starting size. Most importantly of all, I managed to get a magic missile to the Organ Gun he had. I only just managed to sneak line of sight to that Organ Gun. I had 8 dice to roll, and I managed to roll 3 6s in there. He was not able to save it, even though with his Dwarven armor, and I killed the Organ Gun outright. Just a quick comment about what you see in that photo there. That is a battle magic card that I made myself. I used a template for a Magic the Gathering card, and I put all of the spells onto multiple different cards. It actually works really nice, especially in the sleeves there. If you're interested, give me a private message when you're done watching the video, and I'll be happy to share it. Right. On to Dwarves turn 2. My opponent's not very pleased. It is the second game in a row where he's taken an organ gun and it had not done what he's wanting it to do. So he again targets my bar golf with the grudge thrower, managed to roll a hit using his rune of accuracy again, and then I fail my regen save and he rolls 4 wounds and kills it outright. I had expected my Var Golf to last another turn or 2 at least, and that way it forces his hammer unit to stay behind while his warrior unit comes forward to meet me. But now his hammer is free to support the warriors and I'm not 100% sure what I should do from here. What I end up doing is taking my general out of the zombie unit and putting him together with the skeletons, and then pushing the skeleton unit into the house there. That way it protects both my casters against the grudge thrower. I managed to get 2 good evocations off with both casters, and both the zombie units now are quite huge. The zombie unit 1 is about 32 or 33 in size, and zombie unit 2 is about 44 in size, so they should be able to take a hit. During my friend's turn 3, he moves his warriors and hammerers from behind the line. He's going to swing them around to meet my infantry head on. Meanwhile, during shooting phase, his grudge thrower aims at my BSB with the Graveguard. He lands a hit again with the rune of accuracy, but my BSB passes a lookout sir rule. 3 Graveguards are killed. In my turn, I'm fairly tentative in terms of movement. I'm trying to keep out of charge range of that hammerer unit especially. I have tried to take on hammerer units with characters in it before and haven't had good results. They've just got too many attacks, and with a BSB in there, the combat resolution is very heavily favored towards him to begin with. So I'm just trying to look for a good avenue of attack right now. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning of the battle report is that there is an actual oath stone inside the hammerer unit. So my opponent's played it very smart by having it on his flank there, because they can't get flanked or rear charged. So I got to be very careful with my movement here. During my magic phase, I target the grudge thrower with another Gaze of Nagash. I don't roll nearly as good as I did against the organ gun, so he took 1 wound, but it's still fully functional. In my opponent's turn 4, he pushes up both infantry units hoping to engage, but they're just a little bit too far out to charge. The grudge thrower has another go at my general, does manage to drop a rock right on him, but I passed the lookout sir roll, and yeah, he's safe from harm. Half a dozen zombies die, but that's no problem. During my turn 4, I remove my general from the larger of the zombie units and push that unit up to face his warriors. I do keep my general inside the other zombie unit just in case his grudge thrower has a go at me again. I've pushed the skeletons away from the building, not only to leave room so the Graveguard can come out, but to face his hammerers as well. I'm hoping that with their 5+ armor and their 6+ ward, they can hold the hammerers at bay until the end of the game. But I'm not sure how long my skeletons will last, because I have seen hammerer units deal a huge amount of damage in a single turn. Actually, there's a mistake in that diagram. I did move my 2nd level caster into the same unit as my general there before the skeletons moved, just to get him out of harm's way. During my magic phase, I attempt another Gaze of Nagash at the grudge thrower there, but I don't manage to wound it at all. During my opponent's turn 5, he declares a charge with both infantry units. The warriors end up making it to the zombies with ease, but the hammerers fail charge, so they only move forward a little bit there. The grudge thrower has another go at my general, but he ends up misfiring. He rolled a 3 on the misfire table, which means he's not allowed to shoot this turn and he can't shoot the following turn. That effectively puts the grudge thrower out of the game. We can have a look at the hand-to-hand combat a little bit closer. There you see that his warriors are arranged in a 7-wide rank formation, so they do get to attack with all the front rank as well as support with 7 just behind them. He ends up doing 6 wounds to my zombies, which actually included the combat stability test as well. So my zombies actually hold up pretty well there. In my turn 5, I charge with the skeleton unit. Part of the thinking here was to clear room for the Graveguard to engage the warriors from the flank. The other part was just to hold up his hammers for as long as possible. For the rest of my movement, I placed the Graveguard on that side against the warriors so that they can get the flank charge next turn. I also moved my characters out of the first zombie unit and pushed the zombie unit as well up to the other flank. I left enough of a gap between zombie unit 1 and 2 so that I can still see the grudge thrower with my general. Here we see how close combat went. You can see that the actual warrior unit doesn't do a lot of damage to my zombies, and I even managed to kill a warrior back, so the zombies are actually holding their own in that fight. However, on the other side, the skeletons got absolutely carnaged by the hammerers. I think I managed to do a wound back, but there were so many unsaved wounds that due to combat resolution as well, I got cut down to just less than 2 ranks left. I'll just skip ahead to my opponent's close combat stage, as he has no shooting or magic left anymore. He only does 2 wounds to me with a warrior unit against my zombie unit, so that's actually working out really well. However, on the right hand side of that image you can see his hammers decimate the skeletons down to the last man, and they all pop. So, but they've served their purpose. Now that it's top of turn 6, the hammerers no longer can declare a charge, so I can feel free about charging in with my Graveguard along the warrior's flank there without having to worry about getting a flank charge myself from the hammerers. In my turn 6, I charge the Graveguards in. They make it pretty much automatically. I move my caster up slightly as well so that when I next invocate, everyone's within range. So during close combat, his warriors whiff their attacks and only do 2 wounds to my zombies, so that's not great for him. However, with my Graveguard, I end up doing 8 wounds to him, and he ends up rolling 6 out of 8 ward saves to save his unit. So because of the flank charge and my taking away of his rank bonuses, I end up winning combat by 2. But however, he ends up rolling with a BSB close by. He ends up rolling leadership, no problems, and doesn't break. So this is pretty much how the game ended. But wait, you say, there's a mistake that we made. Yes, we realized this as well. You do not get parry saves when you get attacked from the flank. So in actuality, my friend here copped an additional 6 wounds, and that beautiful roll he made before was wasted. So his warriors end up breaking, and I take the points for it being that it's end of turn 6. And yeah, that's the end of this game. This is what the map looked like at the end of the game. The warriors are fleeing, so I do get the points for them. His hammerers are pretty much intact, and with the 3 characters in there, he's retained a huge amount of his points. My Graveguard's still intact. The 2 zombie units are bigger than when they started, so that's not too bad. All in all, that was quite a nice, intense match towards the end there. So here we have the victory point breakdown. I ended up scoring the organ gun, the warrior unit, as well as their standard. For a total of 480 points. My friend got the Vargolf right very early, the skeleton unit as well as their standard, for a total of 370 points. So technically a draw because I need to double his points for a victory. Yeah, that didn't work out too badly considering I think I did not deploy as well as I would like, and the Vargolf died so early. Having said that, my friend's organ gun did get shot pretty freakishly early game as well, so he'd be feeling pretty sore about it, I'm thinking. Just some thoughts about the game. The Rune of Accuracy Grudge Thrower is just so deadly. He took out my Vargolf nice and early in the game, and then I think he dropped another 3 rocks on top of my Lord. Luckily I passed all the Lookout Sir rolls, but that could have gone very differently had I failed one of those rolls, as I have done in the past. The magic missile in turn 1, I believe, was just a huge boon for me. Not having to wade through 14-16 shots at me as I march forward every turn is just a godsend. So this is the second game where my friend has fielded an organ gun where they've not really held up their points cost, but I think that's more luck of the draw than anything. And my final thought is, why am I bothering with skeletons? My zombie unit against his warriors held up for quite a few turns there, while the skeletons got killed by the hammerers in basically one turn. I mean, I know the hammerers with the extra attacks a lot more deadlier than the warriors, but yeah, at the moment, at double the points cost, I'm finding it hard pressed to justify skeletons over zombies. That's the end of the video. I'm Sean from Hammersim. Big shout out to Bravo 10 from the Vampire Counts forums. He's the one that put me onto Battle Chronicler, and that's been a great help for this video. And we'll see you again next time.